In this topic, we're going to be looking at principles of tangency, which is circles and arcs tangential to straight lines, angles, circles, and other arcs. Tangents are used when designing curved objects to get smooth transitions between lines and curves. So let's look at some basic principles. The first one we're going to look at is a circle or arc tangential to a straight line. Now, if you have a circle of radius r, and we're just using r because it could be any radius, then if we offset that radius from our line, anyway on that line would give us a circle that will touch that line once the radius is r. So here we could draw that circle of radius r, and if we were to use any point on that line, it would give us a circle which touches the line at radius r. Now let's see if we could duplicate that for an angle. So circle or arc tangential to an angle. So we learned that if we offset the radius, it will give us a circle touching that line. So if we do it for each of those lines in the angle, then we will get a circle touching both lines. And if we trim that circle, we could get a curved edge. So this works no matter what type of angle. That's once you use the offset with the radius of the required circle, it would give you that circle tangential to both lines in the angle. So here we have a line and a point. So we are drawing a circle or arc tangential to the line and passing through the point. So we learned before that if we want the circle to touch the line, we must offset the radius. So anywhere along that line, and we draw a circle, it's going to be tangential to our line. If it has to pass through the point, we will draw an arc, the same radius, to touch our line. So from the point, radius r, to cut our line. Where you have those two lines intersecting is the center of a circle that will pass through the point and touch the line. That circle being of radius r. So now our next principle, circle arc of a given radius, external tangent to another circle or arc. So when we say external tangent, if we have one circle, and this is of radius big R, and we have a small circle of radius small r, those circles are on the outside of each other. That's an external tangent. Now the principle of this is that if we draw an arc from the center of the big circle with radius r big R, then the distance to the small circle is going to be r plus r. What about if we had a second circle touching that small circle? Then it would be true to say that this circle here, which we're going to call radius r1, and our small circle of radius small r, the centers between those two circles is going to be r1 plus r. So if we want to work backwards now, and we start with our two circles of r and r1, and we wanted to get that small circle, which is going to be an external tangent, to touch those two circles, we would have to add the radius of the two circles to the radius of the required circle. So we're going to have r and r1 and r and r. So once you add those two circles, where the lines intersect is going to be center for drawing the external tangent to those two circles. Now we're going to be looking at the internal tangent. So we have a big circle of radius big R, and we have another circle that's inside that circle. Then we're looking at an internal tangent. And let's look at the relationship between the centers of those two circles. If I wanted to join those centers of those two circles, then that equation works out to be the radius of the big circle minus the radius of the small circle. Now let's say I had a second circle inside here, a second internal tangent. Both of them are touching the circle of big R. And if I look at the relationship between that circle and the circle of big R, I can see that the centers would be R plus R1. So if I started off with two circles and I wanted to draw the internal tangent of big R around those two circles, I would have to follow the construction of finding the center of big R, which would be R minus R, which is the radius of the big circle minus the radius of the small circle, and R minus R1. And where those two circles, two arcs intersect, will be the center for drawing my circle of radius R, which will have the two internal tangents. Another basic principle, we want to get a circle arc tangential to a straight line and tangential to a circle. If I have a line and a circle, and I wanted to get a circle of radius big R, it is going to be tangential to both the line and the circle. Once again, if you have a line, then you offset the required radius. And for a circle, we would need a arc of radius R plus R, because this is going to be an external tangent because the circle's radius are going to be on the opposite side, outside of each other. And where those line and arc intersect is going to be the center for drawing a circle that's going to be tangential to both the circle and the line. Now, if we wanted to just have the arc alone, then we trim away what we don't need from the circle to give the required arc. Now let's look at an example. Here we have a template, and we want to draw this template using the principles of tangency. So first thing, let's get our two circles. So we're going to start by drawing our two circles, radius 35 and radius 20. Next, we're going to identify the tangent that we're going to need, and it's going to be an internal tangent of radius 115 units. We know it's internal because our two circles is going to be inside this circle here of 115 units. So to begin with, for internal tangents, we must subtract the radius. So we have 115 minus 35, and we drawing from the centers of the given circles. So that's going to be 80 units from the radius 35 circle, and from the radius 20 circle, we repeat the process. 115 minus 20, that's going to give you 95 units. Where those two arcs intersect is the center for the internal tangent. That circle that's going to be touching our two circles, and if you notice, our two circles are inside, so that's an internal tangent. Next, we look at the R45 circle, which is going to be an external tangent. The three circles, all the circles are going to be on the outside. So when it's external, we add the radii of the required circles. So it's going to be 45 plus 35, which will give us 80. And 45 plus 20, which is going to give us 65. Where those arcs intersect is going to be the center of the external circle for our figure. So once you have the circle there, what we will do is trim and trim to get the required arcs that we need. We're almost there. We have to do some more trimming. So let's trim off the circles on the inside. And there we have it, our figure. Now for this construction, you would have to leave the centers of the required arcs to show where you got your tangents from. That's the end. Thanks for watching.